Justin, you're a serial entrepreneur. You pioneered the idea of live casting your life on Justin TV back in 2007. You then spun out Twitch, which was sold to Amazon for $970 million. Tell us why you're interested in TechCrunch Europe.
I'm a partner at Y Combinator, which is a seed fund that funds early stage startups. And one of the things we're doing is looking for more startups from around the world, including Europe. So I've come to Disrupt to check out startups around here and see what the local scene's like. I think that one of the things that I've said in the past is that early stage companies actually I think are benefited from starting in a recession.
Yeah, what about your experience as being an entrepreneur in 2007 or even in 2008, right around the financial crisis? Was your strategy different then versus now?
I think the way that we were able to survive was kind of trying to be as cockroach-like as possible and spend as little money as possible, and so we would do things like we rack our own servers and we'd build our own data centers to reduce costs in colos. And I remember one night we slept in the data center because we were trying to just do it all ourselves, basically. And that was really painful at the time, but I think some of the best companies are started that way. Definitely Airbnb, which is one of the stars of our Y Combinator's portfolio, was started in 2008, one of the worst times to start a company. And they have become very successful, I think, because of that culture in the very beginning.
You now wear two caps. You're an entrepreneur, but you're also an investor. You touched on that before. But as part of Y Combinator, why do you think that strategy of taking a company in, helping them through the process, and then introducing them to investors, how does that whole process work, and why do you think it's effective?
So I think right now there's never been a better time to start a company. It's very low cost, especially if it's an internet company. You can start it with just a little bit of seed capital, and the cost of service is pretty low, and really it's the cost of your own time as a programmer, a product person, designer. I think that YC's formula has really worked well because we've been able to find talented people who want to start some startups, and then we've been able to help them with all the other things that go into starting a startup out around building a product.
You've been a successful entrepreneur, but do you think you'll be a successful investor?
Remains to be seen, I think. I hope so. One thing when I started the job, I wasn't sure actually whether I had learned anything in the past 10 years of starting companies. You always feel like you're out of your depth a little bit when if you're being successful at a startup, there's always a new challenge that's harder, a next level. And so I think that when I started as an investor, I was not sure if I actually had any skills. I didn't feel like I had skills, but as I've worked with this last batch of Y Combinator companies, I definitely feel like I recognize I'm able to pattern match don't do this, or do this. Mostly I tell companies not to do things that are distracting, but I feel like I have a lot of knowledge to share with them.
Well, on that note, let's talk a little bit more about Europe. Do you think there are opportunities here that do not exist elsewhere?
When I went to Croatia this summer for a tech event, and the companies I saw there, the products looked really amazing, and there's a lot of talent that most of the world's talent does not exist in the United States.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And are any of the startups that you're interested in here at TC Disrupt?
I just got in and did my speaking thing, and so I haven't had a chance to really walk around that much, but it remains to be seen. They could be, very well could be.
A lot of entrepreneurs would look at your track record and your ability to sell Twitch to Amazon as a great accomplishment. What advice would you give those entrepreneurs?
I think the thing about being in the position to sell your company for a lot of money really depends on what the product is and what the value proposition is and how much value you create for your customers. Really successful companies aren't created to be sold. They're created for longevity, and I think that one thing that we created with Twitch was we really built this community that was very passionate about gaming, very engaged, and 55 million people every month come and watch gaming on Twitch, and that's really what put us in the position to be acquired at all.
Finally, what's the next move for Justin Kan? You've been the founder of many different startups. All of them have been successful. Now you are, of course, a seed investor in Y Combinator. Do you think you'll ever go back to the startup scene?
I don't really have any plans to start another startup right now. I've been kind of doing it for 10 years, and I'm ready to take a little bit of a break and stay an investor.
Thank you for your time, Justin.